Fly fishing's an ancient art that's been around for a long time. It's believed to have started with the Romans and the Macedonians, and I can imagine someone back in those days sitting on a riverbank, watching a trout feed on insects and bugs, thinking if I can imitate what that fish is feeding on, it could be a very productive way of fishing. In this day and age, people still associate trout fishing with fly fishing. But with modern rods and reels, you can catch pretty well any fish that swims, from trout through to marlin, on a fly that you either tie yourself or buy from a tackle shop or online. One of the problems they would have had in the early days is actually casting the fly any distance. There's not much weight in most flies. Generally speaking, some are a bit heavier than others, but to get any distance like you do with conventional gear using a sinker or a lure, you can't do that with a fly. So with modern fly lines these days, this is the weight that you're casting. So you're actually casting the line. They're made in different densities, different configurations, which we'll get into further into the course, but it's the line that you are actually casting that delivers the fly. And most anglers that can fish reasonably well, that can cast reasonably well these days, can cast that line 80 to 100 feet, and most fish you're going to be fishing to are well within that range of casting. If someone was to ask me if there's one word that really defines fly fishing, it would be casting. And casting is something that you really need to understand and be able to do competently to really enjoy the whole fly fishing experience. A lot of people think or assume that it's a difficult thing to do, and it really isn't if you do go through the basic steps and understand what you need to know about fly casting. In our course, we will go through those steps and give you a very good idea of what's required so that you can then go out, practice in the park, and become competent at fly casting yourself. It'll give you a much better fly fishing experience all round if you're casting well. For those of you getting into fly fishing for the first time, say you're wondering what sort of rod and reel to purchase, you really only need a rod, reel, some backing and fly line. We will show you all the specifics about this, including tying knots, leaders, everything you need to know further down the track within this course. But initially, if you're purchasing a rod and reel, your decision will be determined by one, the species of fish that you're going to be targeting, and two, the size of the flies that you'll be throwing at them. What is it about fly fishing that keeps me coming back? A love of the outdoors, the rivers, streams, and the ocean.
Oh, well done.
It's very satisfying and challenging, and in some situations, it can be a more effective way to fish. Your senses are more aware and in tune with everything around you. Because of the nature of fly fishing, it often takes you to places that are remote, isolated, and spectacular. For many, it becomes a way of life.